Hello YouTube. I'm actually adding a voice over to this clip and you'll be able to make out the original speaking from the video, but I was with friends, so I wasn't able to speak in English while we were looking at this. We had a very interesting trip though, and I would like to show you a few highlights of it. The first thing that we stopped over and checked out was this old steam engine. And this one, the green one, which is more recent, as it turned out, even if it seems actually even older than the steam one. I'm not sure if this has been in this shape like originally, or if they have made some changes to it to make it more interesting for show off. But I think it's originally a gasoline powered, like a tractor. The thing you will go to the fields and do your thing. I'm not a specialist in that area, but it's a very interesting machine nevertheless. look at the turning system. Look how the steering wheel is connected to the wheels with a set of those wheels here. Yeah, it's crazy. It looks like something made out of Lego bricks. So anyway, the other thing to the left is this steam engine. Originally I thought it was a steam tractor, like something that goes by itself, powered by steam, but it's not. It's actually turning this big wheel that you just saw on top of it. The steam power does that, and this whole wagon is just dragged after something else. It's like you put coals in this thing, and you fire it up, and it generates power enough to rotate this big wheel, and it's probably connected with something to the other machinery which stays in front of this, and that is the thing that actually does the actual work. I would like to know more about this, so if you by any chance know anything more, actually you may want to let me know, but it's pretty interesting. You can see this old writing here, and look at the craftsmanship. It's all looks like handmade. Also this metal stamp and this door which opens and pretty much doesn't lead to anywhere, but it's still very interesting. Hey, we were lucky to actually even have some sun in the sky today, because this summer has been pretty much crazy. It's raining almost every day and you don't see much of the sun. The weather seems to be changing globally. And look at this gas station. It was adjacent to the steam tractor engine we just saw. Look at this one, for example. That's amazing. You can actually see the insides of it, and obviously people have been taking stuff away, so it's somewhat dismantled. And this is the building of this abandoned gas station. Those are the places that draw my attention as I walk and drive around places. And this one, I think this is the best. It's not as dismantled as the previous one, but it's neither new. It's really weathered. Look at those buttons at the top. Everything is so old and so mechanical. It's crazy. And it's interesting that the light tube was still there, even though the rust has had its way. I don't know even that company. And now look at this building. This is how our journey continued. It was our goal. We wanted to visit the city of Belene, which you can read right here, and look at this. It's a nuclear power station, abandoned nuclear power station. It has not even been built completely. They started working on it at some point in time, and then there were political changes and stuff happened, and after all the government decided to not complete this. But this is a somewhat built nuclear power station, and those huge cranes were used to build the reactor, which is also not completed. Still, you can see those fences, and there are signs which say don't enter, it's forbidden to take photos. I guess it's also forbidden to take videos. I'm not sure if this really matters nowadays because the project has been officially discontinued, but it's of course still kept. Like, you cannot just go there and enter. This power station is built in a very interesting city with interesting story, like we're entering right now. The city of Belene is a location where history says there has been a concentration camp during the Soviet regime in Bulgaria. This camp is on an island. Unfortunately, I would say, on this island there is also a prison. So the island itself is heavily guarded and there is only one road leading over to the island. The island is in the middle of the Danube river and it's not very easy to enter. So we wanted to go and check that out, but maybe we will be allowed to film at a later day. This day we couldn't make it. And look at this abandoned city. I call this the Bulgarian Pripyat because it has some relation to an abandoned nuclear power plant, and it's also abandoned even though no nuclear accidents happened here, thankfully. But look at this, it's a whole city and nature has had its way. Trees are overgrowing this, like we just even stepped out of the paved road, but you can see that there has been a big project for this. Actually, those apartments were created for the people who would have had to work in this nuclear power station. But after the project for the nuclear power station was discontinued, they also abandoned those newly built building blocks. And they were almost completed. You can see, obviously, after the project went abandoned, people have been coming here and taking stuff. But look at this, you can even see their like glass windows, their doors. Maybe there was some furniture inside of the apartments even. I actually want to go in some of those entrances and go upstairs and see what I can find. I'm not expecting to find anything particular, but just the feeling of going upstairs in those abandoned buildings would be somewhat spooky and certainly interesting. Nevertheless, we didn't have that much time today, so we just walked around. I just really wanted to show this place because it's marvelous. Look at how the vegetation is taking over the buildings, and there are birds nesting on the terraces. Some concrete blocks are even falling apart, like this one. Look at that. It's sticking out, and at some point it will just fall to the ground. This place, and in general such places which don't have so many of nowadays, they give you a really interesting food for thought. Like our world, especially as it's changing so rapidly, if we're not careful with it, this is what can happen one day. Our neighborhoods, our houses, our cities, our countries even. If we're not careful with nature and with what we do to our own planet Earth, we may end up here, or worse, of course. Look at the broken windows and the rain. You can, for a moment, imagine if it's like even acid rain or something like this. After the end of civilization, hopefully no such thing will happen, but just thinking about those things can help us change. And as many people change, the less of the chance of something like this ever happening. A very eerie somewhat creepy place. The video cannot really show what you feel once you're there and you're just walking around the vegetation. Look at this. This is even a sewage system. Probably it's completed underground and they only had to put the asphalt and have it completed, but obviously that never happened. Only nature, birds, and the dark grey sky, and the rainfall. The Bulgarian Pripyat. I should come back here and maybe explore a little bit more.
Та е. Това ще е нейно желание.
Like, comment, subscribe, and don't forget about my Patreon campaign. It really helps to visit such places. I think that the guards are coming. We should go. Bye.